All right, very simple but effective day-to-day of training. Did a sprint and plyo day, kind of breaking up my sprint work with my lower body, having them 2 separate days, especially this week, just because don't have a lot of time. And even when I got to the track today, just made it even make sense even more why I did it, because they didn't open until about 6:10 when it's supposed to be open at 6. So that's 10 minutes wasted. Still got to set up my stuff, get going, get warmed up, and go. So by the time I get back home, it's already almost 7, and need to be out and on the go by 7:30 so I can get to school on time, walk to school on time. Because yes, I walk to school, even though it is cold. I don't like driving just because that's what lazy people do. I'd rather get my steps in, still be active, set that example, be the example that you want to be. But again, sprint and plyos, started, hit some basic warm-up, some light hops, those types of things, crawls, and then we went into our drops, kind of did some different variation drops, did some spins, some 360, 180s, 350s, those types of things, just to get going, take on that high impact, high force. These mats suck for it. They slip, and there's not really anywhere else. I'm thinking about pulling down the bleachers next time to do them, but I don't know if they like that, but whatever. What's the worst they're going to do? Tell me no. There's never anyone in there anyway. Then we went to our plyos, so some bounds, some prime times, some single leg cycle hops, both legs hitting those. Just on these, working on attacking the ground, especially to drive that force. Again, creating high force, because sprinting is high force. That's why I don't really, you got the force velocity curve where you got the strength and then the speed on the opposite end. But sprinting is probably more high force than your heavy lifting. So whatever. I mean, use it as kind of something to base off of, but I don't think it's the force curve velocity or the force curve. The force curve has the maximum strength at one end of high force, but then it has max speed velocity on the other end. But max velocity is faster, it's high force and high speed, whereas max strength is just high force, low speed. So again, use it as you may. People have been using it for so long, but I don't know, I see some issues with it, with the force curve. But again, I like to do lots of different things. Sprint fast, which is high force, high speed, like I said, and lift heavy, which is higher force, not as high as sprinting, but low speed. So we hit the plyos, hit the sprints, or hit the plyos, and then went into our, been doing some more deep tier stuff. Mac Watson, that type of thing, where today I did these deep kind of squatted, kind of broad jump, broad hops, whatever you want to call them, where you're not able to get a lot of distance, because it's like really my first time doing them. But here you see them just kind of hopping out where you're in that deep squat. feels pretty good. Did a few sets of those, then did these Russian lunges, kind of working on getting fast before we get into, even though I look really slow there, get into a sprint. Start with different variations as we get build into our sprints. These are not full speed. Not that you could tell, because I'm not fast anyway, but started with the push-up, the side push-up, get up both ways, challenge yourself, trying to get up fast off the ground, transition right into a sprint, rather than just jump up and be slow and kind of like stop and pause. Off the ground, right into a sprint. So hit those, a few of those, shorter 10s. And again, give yourself time in between. Sprinting, even though I'd probably give myself too much time in between these because these weren't full on, but sprinting is not about tiring yourself out. If you want to get faster, you need to go fast. Yes, there's time for like some speed endurance stuff where you're taking a little rest. That's a little bit more conditioning, but sprinting is conditioning too. It's just not tiring you. It's because if you want to go fast, you got to be fresh and recovered. And yes, in games and sports, you're going to get fatigued at times. A lot of times you can push through that stuff, especially if you are training speed. but then we worked into our 10-10 flies. So again, working on that acceleration, those shorter sprints, so 20 yards total. And then did sets of those. That was done. We were done with that for the day. Headed back home. Wanted to get some little bit of Olympic lifts, so we did some hang cleans, mixed in some rolls as well, just to loosen up the spine. But that was the day session. Nice, quick, short, simple, but effective. Again, more speed day based on the splits and plyos, and adding in a few Olympic lifts at the end there. So that's what I did for today. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great night.